Sports Rotten Podcast. Arthur Woods with you. Top 25. Indiana leading Wisconsin 17-7. About 6 minutes in the third quarter. Arizona, Cincinnati 14-10. And Notre Dame at the half leading Pittsburgh 21-3. Michigan 7-6 over Northwestern. And Navy breezing by South Florida 24-9. Here's the big one. South Carolina and Texas A&M. Well, you know, they ain't got a chance. Talking about South Carolina, of course. What chance do they have in that game? I mean, what chance do you have? It's South Carolina having a typical South Carolina season, and they're playing Texas A&M. It's a gimme game. But South Carolina is leading 30-3 at the half, and it could have been worse. Could have been worse because they settled for 3 with a first and goal with almost a minute. Couldn't get but a field goal. But they're leading 30-3. South Carolina. Who would have figured? Not me. I did mention Navy was leading. Going in the third quarter, 24-9 over South Florida, making Notre Dame's momentous victory against Navy look even better. Now, let's go to SEC. I went to top 25, and I got to go to SEC to find SEC teams. Well, I mentioned South Carolina, Texas, A&M, Arkansas, LSU battling to a 14-13 waste of time. Why is this game even played? Arkansas fired their coach, LSU fired their coach, and they can't get out of each other's way. Arkansas had a big lead in that game, but it didn't last, and now they have a little lead. 2:28 and a half. And the Arkies are up by 8 points. LSU got the ball, 3rd and 11, on their own 39. Okay, they're not going to score, so you can call that the halftime score, unless LSU throws a pick 6 or something. Kentucky leading 7-0 over Tennessee Tech. Compelling football. And that's it. Everything else is later on. Much later on, Georgia will play Texas. Texas ranked 10th in the country. Georgia 5. So Georgia, if they can win, will get a top 10 win. At least for a week. I don't know. I don't like that game. After seeing Texas A&M get mauled, I'm afraid that the forces that be, the unspeakable, invisible hand of football, tends to work in things like that. They're not going to let Texas get embarrassed twice in the same day. In fact, what you may be seeing is a premeditated rebuilding of the Texas playoff hopes. They need some help, and they're getting it. Texas A&M losing bad. How does it affect Texas? Well, they play Texas A&M. It means they can win that game. All the more reason for the SEC to make sure Texas doesn't have any difficulties today. I mean, if anybody is sitting in Sanford Stadium cheering and the SEC had a ticket, if there's a thing called the SEC could buy a ticket and sit in the stands, what team would he be cheering for? Texas. Of course, he would. If Mr. SEC showed up at the game, he'd be cheering for Texas. It'd be better for his portfolio. And Mr. SEC likes that portfolio. He take good care of that portfolio. So it's bad for the SEC for Georgia to win. But let's look at that game. It's going to be later on tonight. Texas 10, Georgia 5. I don't have anything posted. Don't know. I can't believe I can't find the number on that. All right, we'll get that later. I've been seeing 5.5 for Georgia. Georgia getting 5.5. But I didn't see the over-under. I don't know. But I have to look at that when you watch Georgia. You have to look at that. The only school in the country where you have to look at that before you can even figure out what the game's going to be. You have to look at the spread and over-under to even have an idea what Georgia's going to do. That's been true every game for the last 3 years, except the last one. The last one, it didn't matter. They went over, they beat the spread, they busted every Vegas thing betting against them. They would have lost for the first time in 3 years. First time, 3 years, that you lost completely betting against Georgia was last week. I don't know what that tells you. I don't know what that tells you. It's information. Do with it as you may. But I diligently follow it. I don't bet on the games. I just follow how the bets go because I feel like that's a factor in how things happen. I feel like that's a factor to study because I know it actually affects the reality. Call me what you want. But you could have won some first half bets against Georgia last week. I didn't say it was a complete wash. But on the big ones, the money line, spread, and over-under, Georgia would have been against them, not in money line. They win the games, except when they don't. But in the betting lines, the spread and over-under have been locks for 3 years. I mean, locks in the sense of one or twice, 80% on the under and almost 100% on the spread. I can't even remember when they beat the spread. I don't think that far back. I try to think in the present and the future. 3 years requires Googling. I don't know, but they haven't done it much. I do know that. So now this is football limbo land, that little moment, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, when in 1970 everybody would have been playing football. Every school in the country would be kicking off right now. Most of them, some at 3:30, but we're at that magical hour where somebody playing football, and right now ain't nobody playing football. There's nothing to watch right now. So we go to the game we're going to watch all day. We go to the game we plan to watch all day. What kind of fan are you? I'm the kind of fan that wants to watch football the whole day. Reschedule things if they show up because it's football. It's the day I celebrate football. I spend the whole day on it. But I've only got one team I care about. Only one that I really care about. I care about the Texas A&M game and the South Carolina because it's interesting, because it could affect the SEC, because it could affect the SEC. It could affect the SEC. I care about the SEC. That's my secondary obsession. But a Georgia fan, a lifer through and through. Didn't really pick it, it just showed up. I wouldn't have known about football if somebody at the house when I was little hadn't have been watching Georgia, and they were, and so did I. And I just cheered for them because everybody in the house did. You go to school, just first grade. When you get to school, all your buddies are Georgia fans. I mean, it's not hard to be a Georgia fan living in Georgia. It's one of those kind of states. Even if you just move down here, you at least respect the fact that they got a football team, and you become like an institutional fan. You've heard of them. So you get a good deal in the house, move down here, you'll be a Georgia fan a little. And there's plenty of them like that. You marry into it. Well, that's the tough ones. That's the tough ones. But I mean, how many strapping bucks going out when they're 13, 14, 18 and dating, and when they finally actually are legally allowed to do so, the star of the show tonight is a Tennessee fan. That doesn't change anything. That's fine. They could be a fan of any team. You wouldn't care, and I didn't either. But marrying into another fan base, you probably could navigate around. Some don't. That's fine. Some do. But of the households that have two competing, genuine fanhoods, I haven't experienced that. I don't know what that's like. My only experience was they were neutral. They didn't give a damn about football. Well, it'd be better if they just liked one team and you didn't. I could see how that would work because you could work around it. All kind of fans. What kind of fan are you? I want to know. I just want to make sure I'm not the only crazy one. Maybe I am. But I'll pull for SEC teams. So like today, I'm a South Carolina fan. Right now, I am a South Carolina fan. I'm cheering. I don't know why, but it's making me just as happy as if my own team was winning against Texas A&M. Like that, you can do that. As an SEC fan, you look at what's this doing to all the bowls? What's going on? Is something happening? And you get excited. Like I was really kind of neutral about this Texas Georgia game. I always feel like this game, it's going to be rigged. It's not going to go right. It's going to have a sour taste. I'm pretty sure. Texas owes us two. They own the state. They own all the money. You think they can't figure out a way to have a good football game? They can. They might. You don't know, do you? That's the point. You don't know. And it's still interesting because at least you don't know for sure that all that stuff's going to play out, and it might just be a football game. Sometimes that happens. I would be happy enough if we just had a football game and see who wins. I think Georgia should win it. I don't know that they will, but there might be some fun either way. I don't see any potential for any earth-shaking playoff moves. I don't know. Is there? Let's go back to the top 25. That's how I do it. That's my fanhood. You're witnessing it firsthand. I just have to share it with you. I mean, you can't watch them if you didn't pay for it, and if you didn't pay enough ahead, or that company went out of business, you could be dropping a dime and can't watch a football game. That's kind of where I'm at. I mean, I kind of watch them on my phone. I watch them on my computer whenever I never even thought about streaming. If there's a game, I can usually watch any game I want live up until the last 2 weeks. But I can't. Now you get radio broadcast. So I keep up with it on my scoreboard. A scoreboard app, and I keep up with it for that, and I go to games if I can find them, and I watch football. I watch it. I got 2 televisions running. I got a computer running. I got my phone, but right now I'm almost ready to go take a hike in the woods. I'll take this with me and check in. I spend my day doing what I want, and I can still go to that game tonight. But I want to know what's going on a little bit. There's a lull, so I'm sharing it with you. I hope your Saturday isn't empty at 2 o'clock. I can't find a game. I'm getting antsy. I got all the food ready to eat and drinks, beers. All kind of party favors are abundantly right in front of me. Some people are starting to drop by. They will. But right now, just you and me. And that's fine. I like that. Okay, now it's time to go for a walk. I got to go, folks. I got stuff to do.